With wrestling season just a few days away, the 2024 NCAA tournament will be here before we know it. So let's run through every weight and see which guys are gone, who are the dark horses, and ultimately who is going to take home the crown. But the only thing I can guarantee is that you should expect the unexpected. After all, last year Spencer Lee, a 3-time national champ, was a lock to win his 4th, but he didn't win. And we had another multiple-time national champ in Roman Bravo Young, who was a huge favorite, and he also didn't win. And there's even Yianni Diakomihalis, who ultimately did win his 4th national title, but he almost lost this match. And he almost lost this match. So with that being said, let's take a look at the crystal ball here at 125 pounds, which has lost a lot from last year. Spencer Lee, gone. Liam Cronin, gone. Patrick Glory, gone. Killian Cardinal, gone. Brandon Courtney, gone. So while only 3 All-Americans returned from the 2023 National Championships, the cupboard is not as bare as you might think. Because, well, why they didn't place last year, you can't forget about guys like Patrick McKee, Michael D'Agostino, and Eric Barnett, who are all previous All-Americans. And then, of course, you have guys like Jacob Camacho, who are coming out of redshirt, who teched Patrick Glory at the US Open only a few weeks after he won his national title. And of course, I have to mention Richie Figueroa of Arizona State, who actually went undefeated in the regular season and beat Matt Ramos last year. Not to mention guys like Robbie Howard and Drake Ayala, who wrestle at powerhouse programs. Coming out of redshirt, they had very promising starts to their college career, so these guys could certainly make some noise and shake some things up this year at this college weight. So what might make the most sense here is to throw all these guys' names in a hat and pick one. But I'm gonna go with Jacob Camacho. He has beaten Pat Glory, and he's also beaten Matt Ramos. And with the year off, he has fresh legs and he's set up for success to take that title. 133 pounds might be the deepest weight of the field this year. It loses RBY but returns Vito Arujau, the national champ and this year's senior level world champion. It also has Dayton Fix, who is also a world finalist. That's right, we have 2 senior level world finalists in 1 college weight. And with 8 All-Americans returning to this field, this weight could not get much deeper. Now, I'm not ruling out Dayton Fix of winning this weight class. He's certainly capable. But Vito Arujau is on a heater that doesn't seem to be slowing down. So I'm predicting that Vito will finish off his college career as a 2-time national champ. Unlike 133 pounds, 141 pounds won't have a returning national champ, as Andrew Alirez is taking an Olympic red shirt. So that leaves Real Woods the national runner-up, Bo Bartlett, who had a huge jump in performance as he dropped weight classes last year, and then Brock Hardy, who is fresh off a U23 world bronze medal. And this weight class does add Jesse Mendez, who is bumping up from 133 pounds. Real Woods is going to be a senior this year and totally focused on winning that national title. I think he's going to take another jump in that Iowa room and bring home a national title for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Yianni Diakomihalis has reigned with an iron fist over the 149-pound weight class the past 2 years, but he's out. So that leaves the weight wide open for high flyer Austin Gomez or Reg Lovett, who's coming out of redshirt, a guy you do not want to choose bottom on, and Shane Van Ness, who was somewhat of a bracket buster, seeded 13th, but placed 3rd. And in my opinion, he could be a sleeping giant. But I'm going to take a little bit of a route here. I'm picking Caleb Henson of Virginia Tech. He bursted onto the scene last year as a true freshman, and with 1 extra year in that Virginia Tech wrestling room, I think he's going to jump levels. He had some tough wins over guys last year, including one over 2-time national finalist Sammy Sasso. Speaking of Sammy Sasso, he was supposed to bump to 157 pounds this year. Now I'm hoping he has a full recovery, and I'm guessing we'll see him back on the mat in the 2025 season. And when he does, you better believe I'm cheering for him every single match and to win the title next year. But as for this season, Levi Haines will start the year out ranked number 1 and will be the favorite to win this weight. But 157 pounds might be just as deep as 133 pounds. It has Bryce Andonian, who actually almost pinned Levi Haines in the quarterfinals at the tournament. It has Ed Scott, who is fearless on the mat. But the finals is going to be between a wrestler you may have forgotten about, Ja'Cory Teamer of Arizona State. He went undefeated in the 2022 regular season and is a 2-time All-American. But I predict he's going to lose in the finals to true freshman Meyer Shapiro of Cornell, who is fresh off winning a gold medal at the Junior World Championships and is in that room every single day with Yanni Diakomahalis, who knows a thing or two about winning national titles. And you know who else knows a thing or two about winning national titles? Keegan O'Toole, the 2-time defending champ at 165 pounds. And he also knows a little bit about winning world titles, as he just won a gold medal at the U23 World Championships in dominant fashion. I mean, he barely broke a sweat, but winning his 3rd national title is no guarantee. He'll have to beat David Carr, who is a national champion in his own right. And David Carr actually beat Keegan O'Toole 2 times last year, one of them by pin. David Carr has stated he's going all in on winning his 2nd national title in his senior year. So I'm going to predict Keegan looks ahead on what it might take to beat Kyle Dake at the Olympic trials just a few weeks after the national tournament. And this year, David Carr gets the win when it matters most. Now, Penn State fans, I know what you're thinking. 6 weights in and I still haven't picked a Nittany Lion. Well, that changes now. At 174 pounds, I don't think anybody's going to be able to beat Carter Starachi. Mekhi Lewis is tough to take down, but I'm just not sure he can generate enough offense to be able to beat Carter. The one guy who I think could beat Carter is Shane Griffith. But the problem there is they're going to have to wrestle 3 times. The dual, Big Ten tournament, and the national tournament. And I think Shane might be able to beat Carter in the dual or the Big Ten tournament. After wrestling him 2 times, I think Carter will be too well prepared to lose, and he will become the 6th wrestler ever to win 4 national titles. 184 pounds loses a lot from last year, with guys either bumping up in weight or graduating. But there is still some really high-level top-tier talent in Parker Keckeisen and Bernie Truax. Now, Parker Keckeisen's going to start out the season ranked number 1. And he has one of the highest attack rates in all the country. So I will not be surprised in the least if he wins the national title. But if you remember, in the 2022 tournament, Bernie Truax actually beat Parker Keckeisen in the quarterfinals. And with Bernie transferring to Penn State, I think he takes his game to the next level and keeps that 184 national title with the Nittany Lions. That's 2 in a row for Penn State, and the train is not stopping there with Aaron Brooks bumping up to 197. And after witnessing what he did at the U23 World Championships, I'm not sure there's a wrestler in this field that can keep him within a major decision. Now, if AJ Ferrari enrolls at Iowa and wrestles 197, which at this point I think is probably going to happen, that is a match that will have my undivided attention. And then there's Trent Hidley with his powerful underhooks, and Rocky Elam are both top-notch wrestlers that could cause some problems for Aaron Brooks. But I predict Aaron Brooks to become the 7th 4-time NCAA champion in history. And that takes us to the big boys. Now, Gable Steveson technically has another year of eligibility, but all signs point to him not using it. And Mason Parris, the returning national champ, well, he's gone. But heavyweight is as deep as ever, with Greg Kurtvliet, Colton Schultz, hopefully Tony Cassiope, Wyatt Hendrickson, and Lucas Davidson. Lucas Davidson is a guy I'm going to keep an eye on, as he will be battling with Mason Parris every single day, so he could potentially make huge strides in his wrestling game. And if Colton Schultz can return to his 2022 form, his size may be too much for the other wrestlers to handle. But I think the finals are going to come down to Greg Kurtvliet and Wyatt Hendrickson. And this is where I think the 3-point takedown could come into play. I'm going to predict that Wyatt Hendrickson gets the first takedown, and as long as he doesn't get turned or give up a stall point, he can get ridden out and still win the match. And the arena will chant USA as Wyatt Hendrickson wins the national title, not only for Air Force, but also for America. And as for the team title, Penn State is going to win the 2024 team title. They will get 2 four-time national champs in the same year and will be considered one of the greatest college wrestling teams in the history of our sport. The season's just around the corner, so make sure you watch this video about 6 freshmen who could be breakout stars. And oh yeah, subscribe.